want to talk today about something that I've talked about a lot. It's been a theme in a whole bunch of my minutes as well as seminars and DVDs, but I think it's really important, and I want to hit it really hard today, and that is the concept of we have to stop doing what the bride wants. And I mean collectively, not just DJs. Really, this should be every, I don't care if you're a plumber or a videographer. That's a reference to a couple weeks ago. I don't care what your profession is. We have to understand what the client really wants, not just what they ask for. Because a lot of times they ask for things out of ignorance. They don't know any better. Again, it's easy to go with what they don't want, right? So the client says, I don't want a DJ who talks too much. Well, nobody wants a DJ who talks too much. Or, I don't want games. Or, you can sort of fill in the blank there. I don't want these things. But we just nod our head and go, okay, I shouldn't want to do that. And then the flip side is they go, I just want to have a moment of silence because my grandmother died last week. And so we go, okay, that's what the bride wanted, and we do a moment of silence. Instead of a powerful memorial moment that, results in excitement and energy and joy. And we bring it all down because it's what the bride wanted. So it has to do with where we set up, what the sequence of events is, the kind of music that we play. I see like on almost daily basis on one of the DJ boards, a variation of the question, what do you do when the bride gives you a list of really crappy music? But those are things you have to deal with up front, like long before you get that list of music. You should have discussed the entire vision of what they want. You should have discussed what your role is in choosing the playlist and what their role is in choosing the playlist. And again, we've talked often about working with our clients instead of for our clients. And this is a great example. If you just go along with what they want, invariably you're choosing the wrong thing. It's the old, somebody comes in and they say, I want a 1/4-inch drill bit. They don't really want a 1/4-inch drill bit. They want a 1/4-inch hole. If they didn't know that drill bits existed, then they might come in and say, I want a screwdriver about this wide. And you go, okay, here. And then you just, and they're trying to punch a hole in a wall because they don't know there's such a thing as a drill bit or a drill. So a good person helping them would go, what are you doing with this? And then they would explain it. And then that person would go, well, instead of a screwdriver, do you know about drill bits? No, it's a drill bit. And then they could explain that, and now you get a much better result. That's what we have to do, but every step of the way. It goes back to, we talked so much about asking more questions, and not, everybody wants this pre-selected list. It's not a pre-selected list of questions. It's a conversation. It's sitting back and going, oh, so, somebody says something as simple as like, yeah, you know what, I went to my cousin's wedding and it just sucked. And you go, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. So what was bad about it? And then they go, the DJ just really sucked and the food was bad. And you go, oh, and then you start talking. But well, what did he do specifically that sucked? And it could be a lot of different things. And then you end up with I don't want a DJ who talks too much. And it wasn't that DJ used too many words. It's that he wasn't a good speaker, right? So understanding what they really want and then solving the problem. That's, the role of any business is to solve a problem. So you have to start by asking questions. The worst businesses, in my opinion, are the ones who just solve a problem. I'm going to tell one story here that's going to put me definitely over my minute, but I think it's important to understand. Years ago, our office was broken into, and on the office they took out the deadbolt. That's how they got in. And so we lost some stuff in the office. It was very traumatic. We didn't lose nearly as much as it could have. Fortunately, our alarm scared them off. But we ended up with a locksmith out and I said, I got to fix this lock. And the guy went, okay. And he put in a new lock. And as he was doing it, I started chatting him up. And I said, so how do they get this lock off? Like, I'm not a do-it-yourself guy. I don't know. And I'm getting one of those grunters. Everything's just like a one-word, they just take it off. But how? Well, then screw it. Well, what are you saying? And after 5 or 6 attempts, he finally shows me that quite literally the lock on our door with pliers, it unscrews and you take it off. And I'm like, well, that can't be right. I mean, there's got to be a better way to do a lock than this. Now, he was doing what I asked him to do, which was replace the lock, and he was putting another one in that was exactly the same. But I said, I'm sure you can't go to Bank of America and just unscrew the lock and walk in. There's got to be a better way to do this. And his first answer was, well, no, because the rules of those kind of a lock and blah, blah, blah. It's like, look, but there's got to be something else that could be done here. And he goes, well, you could put a sleeve on it. I don't know what you're saying to me, dude. A sleeve. No, I don't know what you mean. And so he explains that there's a little spinning sleeve that can go around the outside of the lock. And then if you try to unscrew it, it doesn't unscrew. And I was like, well, what's the downside? And he goes, well, it costs more. Now, I'm about to pay this locksmith $180 or whatever it was to replace this. I've got a loss for the stuff that I just lost. I'm pretty willing to spend some money. I don't know how much this is, but I don't know, this is $500. Let's do this. I go, well, how much is a sleeve? And he goes, it's like $7. I wanted to kill him. I just wanted to stab him with the screwdriver, right? What's the downside? Well, that's it. I don't understand why you wouldn't tell me about this. Well, you didn't ask. Yeah, because you notice on the door it says Premier Entertainment, not Premier Entertainment and Locksmiths. When our clients come to us and they say they want a moment of silence or they don't want to do a bouquet toss, and we go, okay, no bouquet toss. But you have to say, why don't you want a bouquet toss? That's not to talk them into a bouquet toss, but it's to find out, why don't I want to do a bouquet toss? Because we don't have any single women there. But at this point, if you've already figured out they're very sentimental and there are no single women, it's probably an older couple at this point. That's the ones who tend to not want to do those, not always. They don't have any single women or not enough to make it worthwhile. So, well, have you thought about maybe doing something different with the bouquet toss? Maybe a presentation of your bouquet. Do you have somebody very special, a grandmother, mom, or somebody that would mean a lot that you could present this bouquet to? Now, the answer most of the time with these kinds of things is, no, not really. And that's fine. You don't spend an hour on it. Like, okay, there are other options. You could also, by the way, if you wanted, throw the bouquet to all of the women. I just don't like the whole idea of bringing all the women out there doing that. Okay, so it's really like bringing them out and making the big thing. What about this? One of the things that we've done that's really a lot of fun is we just have the bride toss the bouquet into the center of the dance floor while everybody's on the dance floor. This is really cool, like if you've got a second story, and you've got a balcony, and you don't even tell anybody, you just get the bride up there, and once she's up there, then on the microphone you can say, hey, look up, Stephanie is about to toss her bouquet. Whoever catches it, catches it. Boys, girls, moms, dads, everybody, here it comes, right? And now it's a fun free for, I never even thought about that. Maybe it switches into, we're going to have our really little kids, and so it's a candy toss. But it's not just saying, okay, she didn't want to do a bouquet, so I didn't do it. Or, shortening a first dance. People go, well, the brides and grooms don't ask me to do it. Well, they don't even know they can be shortened, right? Or you say, do you want me to make it shorter? And in their minds, you just cut the song off in the middle, and no, this song's important to them. But maybe if you talk to them a little bit about, what they were going to do and explain, you can just take out that last repetitive verse. So now instead of the song being 3 minutes and 48 seconds, it's 3 minutes and 12 seconds without a repetitive verse. And if all they're going to do is stand there and sort of rock back and forth, 312 might feel much better than 348. But they didn't ask you to do it. You have to present that idea. So I'm way over my minute, which I knew today would be, but I want you to think about everything that they present to you. Don't just do what they ask for. Find out what they really want. What's the end result that you want. And that should be one of the questions you're asking anyway. A question I would always pose is at the beginning is to say, when your wedding is over and your guests are driving home, they're in their car and you can't hear them. But if you could, what would they be saying that would make you go, that's exactly what I wanted? And when they said this wedding was, and you can't just say fun because we know everybody wants fun. So besides fun, what would they say about your wedding that would make you say, wow, this is really amazing? Now, if they say really unique, then I know I need to come up with unique ideas. So when they say, I don't want a bouquet toss, they probably don't want 1, 2, 3, go, right? If they say they want something very sentimental, then I think maybe that bouquet to present it to somebody is something else. So there's lots of ways to do this, but ask a lot of questions, get to the real point of what they want, not what they ask for. And not only will your events be much better, your referrals will be much better, and you'll have way more fun. So we're probably just over a minute, and I will see you next week for our 100th episode.